Hey friends, I'm Amanda Roses and welcome to my gaming channel. Today we're doing a new fan art based on the game Bioshock. I just started playing this and I'm already loving it. It is such a cool concept for a game, having this whole city under the water set in the 60s. Like, this is amazing. I love it so much. And as soon as I first started playing the game, you see Rapture for the first time in the submarine and it's just neon lights and 60s vibes and all of that. I just knew I had to paint it. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to paint Rapture. But the cool thing is that I'm actually going to be doing this as a glow-in-the-dark painting. So yeah, I'm going to be using glow-in-the-dark painting to do kind of some of the outlines and the signs so that when you turn off the lights, you get this glowing underwater feel. I've never tried this before, so it's going to be, a little bit of an experiment, but I'm super excited to see what happens. So anyways, let's get to it. So as usual, we start with the background, and the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of do like a solid background of color all over the canvas. And that's because this is a really dark painting. Like, I don't want any of the white to show through because I think it'll just distract from it, and it'll also make it complicated later on if I'm trying to build details on the painting, if I have to try and fill in white spots so that they're not showing. So it's a good idea to just lay out like a base color that you don't mind having show through in spots if need be. So for that, I'm going to be using this really awesome turquoise color that I got. I love it. It is such a nice, vibrant color. And I want to have like darker on the outsides and then kind of like lighter in the middle. So I have black, my turquoise color, and white. And I've started by just mixing a little bit of black into the turquoise. So I'll do that kind of around the edges and then blend it going lighter with this color just straight up in the middle. And then in the very center, it'll have the blue with just a little bit of white to make it lighter. Here's the background. I am absolutely loving this color. I really think it's capturing the kind of moody underwater vibes of Rapture, so that's going great. I got paint all over my hand doing this. Just a mess as usual. Trying really hard not to get this on my white shirt. Huge mistake. Next up, I'm going to be adding the buildings in the background. So these are going to be kind of far off in the distance, and since we're underwater, they're especially hazy, so I really need to capture that off in the distance hazy look with these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the kind of darker black and blue similar to what I use up here, but maybe a little bit darker. And then I might add just a tiny bit of green just because, I think that's one thing that's lacking from this color right now. And then I'm going to try and do it fairly blended into the background. I might end up using the tissue trick again that I used on the Sakura Ashina painting, see if that'll make it a little hazy. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Oh my gosh, I am even messier than before. I have paint all over my hands, and I swear I just found some in my hair too. But totally worth it because I am loving how this painting is coming together so far. It's taken me about 3 hours to do these buildings, and that's a long time for me. It's just because I really struggled to get them right. First off, I realized that the background was too dark, and so the buildings weren't really showing up properly. But I fixed that by using my handy-dandy napkin to dab on some more lighter paint in the background, which also had this really great effect of giving it kind of like a grainy, misty appearance, which I think really lends to the atmosphere. Other than that, I kind of struggled to get the buildings right, and they didn't really come together until I added more fine details to those, which was kind of in the black outlines and then the blue light coming through. Next up, I'm going to be adding the glow-in-the-dark paint finally. So I just have this glow-in-the-dark paint that I got for like $3 from the art store. It's nothing fancy, but hopefully it works. And I'm going to be using it to add windows and details to the buildings, as well as just in this light shining up. So I think once I do that, it'll really come together. So I used the glow-in-the-dark paint to add windows to the buildings, and I think it looks so great. I'm loving how the buildings are turning out with this added detail, and I did a quick test to see how the glow-in-dark looks. It looks awesome with the windows, but I think I need to add a bit more paint to the bottom because right now it doesn't really show through too much. I mean, it might be just because it hasn't even really dried yet, and it's not very dark out even when I close the windows, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to add a little bit more to, make it a little more vibrant. The other thing I have to do still is add Finley's building, which is going to go here with the big neon sign, and then the bridge tunnel things that they use to get between areas, so it'll go across like that. And then I might be close to done, but I think that's going to take me a while because Finley's is the most detailed building there is. So let's just get started. So here's the final Bioshock painting. I had a lot of fun making this as usual. It was really interesting to try doing a city and add in that underwater aspect, which actually made it a little more complicated in terms of getting that like depth perception, because it definitely changes underwater, but I think it went pretty well. Honestly, I really like the vibes of this painting. I love the mood and the way it really feels like you're floating through Rapture as you look at this painting. So as you know, the other aspect of it with the glow-in-the-dark paint that I use, and I'll show you what it looks like. It actually turned out pretty well on camera. It's very vibrant and you can really see that glowing appearance, but in real life, it definitely isn't as vibrant as that. Even the room has to be basically in complete darkness without even like the tiniest bit of light just to see the glow effect. And even then, it's just not quite as vibrant as you see on the camera. Also, I had to use like 5 coats of paint to get that. Like, I swear I put so much glow-in-the-dark paint on this to try and make it work. So definitely in the future, I will be getting a more high-end glow-in-the-dark paint so that I can have a bit more options and not have to use quite so much just for a little bit of an effect. But overall, I had a lot of fun experimenting with it. It was really cool to try and visualize what it's going to look like in the dark and in the light, because it's almost like 2 separate paintings there, since nothing you see in the daylight you can see in the dark. So yeah, that was really interesting. I hope you all enjoyed watching me do this Bioshock Rapture painting. I had so much fun painting it with all of you, and make sure to hit like and subscribe if you want to see more. See you next time!